Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. This is Reverend Jerry Hobby with Spiritual Enlightenment and Truth Focused Ministry. And today is a wonderful day. It's Thanksgiving Eve. And so we're having a gratitude visual. And the next person that's going to be sharing their wisdom and their spiritual practice of gratitude is Reverend Dr. Renee Hart. She is a practitioner with Centers for Spiritual Living and an independent minister. And her whole life is dedicated to spiritual practice. And I just want to welcome her. How are you today, Reverend Dr. Renee?
Hello, I'm doing fantastic today. Today is just a day of giving thanks, just being fully present.
Beautiful, beautiful. I love your backdrop.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yes.
It's very festive, and it just reminds me and warms my heart. With all the beautiful colors you have and all the sacred items that you have. So I understand that you have been in prayer vigil for all more than a week now. Is that so?
Yes, yes.
So tell
We uh, we did the clergy, the clergy, how you said it, the clergy for San Bernardino clergy. Uh, uh,
clarity, the clarity.
yeah, yeah. And so it was really nice. And we actually, cars was coming and we were stopping them and asking if they want prayer. And so each one of us got a chance to do a prayer when each person was coming by. So that was good to just really uplift and be a beneficial presence for the community, really. And they were so grateful to have that prayer. They were very surprised that they was getting that prayer actually. So
That
that
was
was nice.
rich. Now,
Uh,
the thing that I'm most proud of is, and I'm calling this giving, this is the week where we give the best of the best within ourselves. And the part that I most enjoyed was to see all of the clergy coming together like that. At one point, we had a priest, we had a rabbi, and we had two people that were from Centers for Spiritual Living, religious scientists. And we're all laughing, enjoying ourselves, and talking about the grace of God. And that was just beautiful. And our sharing and being proud of what we brought together and pulled together. I so enjoyed that. And your role, the energy you brought was very rich and uplifting for this community. One of the things that we talked a lot about was empathy and compassion. And I'd like for us to talk more about empathy and compassion. Sometimes we take life for granted,
mhm.
and we can't take life for granted right now. So much is happening in the world, and most especially for people from many different walks of life. And what I know about San Bernardino is San Bernardino is a diverse city. There's a lot going on in that city, and a lot of people are hurting. A lot of people are in pain. Um, so, can you share a little bit more about that?
Yes. So one of the things that we do is we go out and we pray with the homeless, and we also feed them, give them a lunch. We also work in the community for the senior citizens, mainly the ones that shut in can't get out. And we go to their homes and we deliver food to them and pray with them. And it has been an awakening for me to see how prayer is really needed right now in this life, in this time of our life. It's like even when we're going and we're feeding the homeless, it's like they're getting on their knees on the grass, on the ground, and they're like, please, can you pray for me? I need prayer. And so it's like we go into prayer and we just know the truth for them and for their families. We're not trying to point why you're that way, but we're there to help support you and uplift you to a higher vibration so you can get out of that situation. And I talked to a young lady. She was telling me, and she also said, I can share that. That's why I'm sharing this. And she was telling me that she was working, doing really well. Then all of a sudden, the coronavirus stopped. Took over the job, and she couldn't work anymore. And then she says, when it's said and done, she lost her home, and that's why she is at the park. And she had her dog and her van, just a little bit of stuff in her car. So it's like, we don't know why people are the way they are, and it's not for us to judge others for the way they are, but it's to elevate and move through with ease and grace and support them in this journey. And then when I go and I pray for the shut-in, we had a 100-year-old, remember? For Thanksgiving, she came and she wanted to be in sacred service so bad, her and her caregiver. And so I'm like, well, it's kind of too late right now. And so what they wind up doing, well, can I come in, use the bathroom? I said, yes. And so I let her come in. And so the caregiver says, well, it is late. I know it's time for you guys to go. She says, but is there anything I can do? She was like, because we got up, we got dressed, we really want to be in sacred service today. And I know this is healing for my friend, and she said she turned 100 and she looks good and she really wanted to be in sacred service. And so I says, okay, well, and I had the little things on the table and I was like, well, should I do and be late or should I help? And then I just allowed my intuition to move through me and said, yes, go and allow them to help. And so they got, and I said, yes, you can go on and help. Oh my God, the smile on their face. And she said, let me go get her. Let me go get her. She got her wheelchair and she brought her in. And she says, I'm ready to be of service. I'm ready, And it was just a wonderful experience. She taught me something that day. Mm. And so as she was getting the eggs and I already did the peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and all this other stuff. So she's doing hot dogs, and she's putting the hot dogs in the bun, and she was just very neat about everything. Mm. And then she says, I feel so good doing this. And so she continued for about 30 minutes. I'm like, I gotta go, right? But then I just allow the time to leave and allow to be fully present in the moment. So sometimes when life gets so busy, we need to tune into God's spirit to talk to us and allow God's spirit to move through us as us. And so as I did exactly that, I was able to just hear her journey, hear these experiences that she has experienced. And then I said, can I take a picture? She said, oh, I would love to take a picture with you. And you surely like working me to death. And I said, oh, don't say death, right? She started laughing. And so it was so funny, but she was in sacred service. So it means something in a deeper sense to be in sacred service, to be able to allow God's spirit to move through you as you and do exactly what God said for you to do. And it feels good that you can hear and that you can listen, because I would have cut off my own blessing. But by her touching the bags and putting that energy in it, she was able to touch those bags and give that to the homeless. And that energy that she put in of joy, peace, and love and healing, that they was able to feel from that also. And so I was really appreciated. I was really appreciated, but because she was there and her worker was there. And she was sitting there and she was just really on it. She was doing the stuff and it made her mind think. Mm. And as they was doing it, they was busy with it. And I'm like, wow, they really into this, And then I'm like, yeah, it's about being in sacred service. And it's about how we choose to be in sacred service, about listening to the intuition and to spirit guide us and tell us what to do. And in that, it's not about what we're getting from it. It's about how we can help. And whatever we give, it's a law of circulation, comes back and forth. So as we give, it comes back full circle. And so in that, I learned that day, when was that, last week? I learned it was, what is it, Wednesday, Thursday, to be in the moment,
Mm-hmm.
to really be in the moment, even in the midst of the doing, everything you got to do in life. You got to do this, but be present in the doing. And that's how you're allowing God's Spirit to speak through you as you, because you're allowing space for God's presence to move and be and do. And so, in that, I learned that valuable lesson again. It was a powerful reminder of being in the moment. And what came to me in my vision was, because yes, I do vision, I
Mm-hmm.
do journaling, and those are all spiritual tools that help me, uplift me to be grounded, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And so what I did, I said, I asked these questions to myself, that higher self. And the thing of it is, how am I being a sacred service? And am I allowing God's Spirit to move through me, ask me while I'm doing it?
There you go.
What's the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing? And
Mm-hmm.
so I was asking myself all these questions. Whatever you do, do it in a state of love. Whatever you do it in a state of compassion. And so as I had that epiphany again, it was just a reminder, for whatever we do, whatever it is, do it in a state of love, do it in a state of compassion, whatever it is. And if you don't want to do something, maybe you need to back away from it for a moment and take a breath and ask God's Spirit to move through you as you proceed in doing whatever it is you're in the midst of doing. And
Mm-hmm.
so in that, that is another way how I do sacred service for the world and
This
take care of
Ava.
myself.
Mm-hmm. We call it Seva, selfless,
And, yeah.
selfless service. Absolutely. How beautiful and energizing. You know, like I said, I call this the week where we just get an opportunity to give the best of the best within us. And I so enjoyed myself this past week. We gave away turkeys and
Yeah.
to families that would not have turkeys. And one of the things that happened for us when we were collecting goods, the goods that we were collecting, we were over at Lady of Hope over in San Bernardino with the clergy earlier this week. And I had a conversation with Father Manning, and he talked about just understanding the need of the community. And it felt good for this ministry to support and partner. This is about partnerships right now, organizations coming together and working together. And in our partnership, I felt really good with Living Heart Ministries when we were able to come and they got these beautiful food boxes. And not only did they receive these beautiful food boxes, but they also got a turkey. And to know that these families are going to take that home and they're going to have a fulfilling Thanksgiving. A lot of people may be hurting right now, but the most important part is for us to lift up people's spirit, to lift up, for them to look up to the possibilities that are available to them. And there is a richness in terms of the work that you are doing and Living Heart Ministry is doing. So while we are talking about Living Heart Ministry, I'd love for you to share a little bit more about the needs of the homeless because we have this thing called Amazon Smile. And what we have done with Amazon Smile, we have a program where people can go and sign up for Amazon Smile with Spiritual Enlightenment and Truth Focused Ministry. And in there, we also have a spot where what we have done is listed some of the things that people can do to give. And this is part of our partnership with Living Heart Ministries So they can go in and order toothbrushes and things like that. And as they're ordering those toothbrushes, those things are going to be delivered to your ministry. And that's going to really support people that you meet on the street that are looking for ways. Everybody wants to be refreshed. Everyone can use a little extra, that little extra, that toothbrush and maybe a little toothpaste or mouthwash might refresh and support everyone in terms of becoming more imbalanced and just give them a sense of hope.
Mhm.
Yes.
And also what we do is we give them socks and scarves and hats and whatever right now is going to help them keep them warm. And so we also are trying to do this fundraiser for blankets that give each homeless a blanket in
Mm,
San Bernardino that needs it. And I was at the store earlier today, and we was driving by, and I just looked at this guy, and I just sent him love and night healing energy because it's nothing that I can do, but I can pray.
mm-hmm.
So when you can't do anything else, the biggest thing you can possibly do is pray. And so as I prayed, he didn't have no shoes on. It was cold, and his feet was as brass. And I just sent him a prayer.
Mm,
I knew the truth for him, and then I moved on. I didn't ignore it because I didn't want to see it. You see, sometimes I notice when I talk to people, they said they ignore it. They don't want to see it because it hurts. So
mm,
they turn their face so they won't see it. And so they're numb to it. So I'm like, how about if you can't do anything at that moment, go into prayer, raise that vibration,
here you go.
perfect healing in that. It's whatever you can do in the moment that makes a difference. So, like I said, if it's finances, uh, to focus into ministry, giving the tithes or whatever, it's helping different organizations to elevate, to bring the highest vibration to humanity. And so, if you can't give money, then give talent. It's
Here,
whatever you have within you, because it's the law of circulation. You must give as you receive. And
that's
so, as that, I support that thought. And I try my best to be able to be that, exactly what I'm asking for.
this part. This is what we call showing up as a beneficial presence in the world. And there are definitely so many different ways that we can show up as a beneficial presence in the world. And I love the fact that you are talking about people wanting to turn their heads away from um, hurt, people that are hurt, people who are suffering. And of course, what we do is when we stick our head in the sand, that's what I call it, sticking your head in the sand. What ends up happening is you magnify it. But if you can face it and you can stand in a place, I'm going to call it standing in a place of love, stand in a place, and you may not have, and there have been opportunities where people showed up and they'll say, ma'am, do you have something to spare? And at that moment, I may not have anything to spare to give at that moment in that time, but I always can give my energy of love and pray for their growth. I can always pray for their prosperity. I can pray for their good. And that's what this is all about. Just being aware of that magnifies, and maybe perhaps that experience will inspire you. Many years ago, I remember a young lady just happened to be at church with her mom, waiting on her mom, and she looked out over a park. It was at a church I was at, and she saw homeless people strewn out all over the grass. It was so many of them, and it was a cold day. She called me up and she wanted me to know that we were starting something. It wasn't Reverend Jerry, can I? She says, Reverend Jerry, I just want you to know we're collecting blankets for the homeless people, blah, blah, this. And it sounded so good. And I was like, why didn't I hear about it here at the church? She was so inspired. She was moved by compassion. And when I found out, she just needed that help to be inspired to allow that to happen. And we started a thing called Share a Blanket, Share Love. And that was very, very rich. And my prayer is that we will share blankets and share love with the Living Heart Ministry. And the people in the community will be helped and assisted because of that. Everything is about spiritual practice. So there is spiritual practice in being in selfless service. That in itself is a spiritual practice. And in addition to all of that, one thing we know is Reverend Dr. Renee, you pray, 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 pray all the time. And everybody sees you all over our social platforms. You're a celebrity, you know. So I'm wondering if you may bless us and honor us with a special meditation. And
Oh, yes, I would love that. Yes. So
okay.
let's just sit comfortable in your chair or wherever you're at. Let's just sit quietly and take a breath and breathe. And as you take that God breath and you breathe, take another breath. And in this moment, we know God is all that there is. We know that God's Spirit is moving in us and through us all around us today. So we bless this day that the Lord has made. And as we're going into meditation and we've taken that God breath, focus your energy on what are you grateful for today? What are you grateful for today? Take that breath and you're just going to breathe. Mm. Moving your head from side to side and now relax. Taking that God breath and focus on being grateful. Go to the heart space. What am I grateful for in this moment? we take that breath, we breathe. Take that breath and breathe. Take that God breath and breathe. filling the heart space. Feel the rhythm to your heart. I am grateful for love. I'm grateful for compassion. I'm grateful for peace. As you open up your heart, your mind, body, spirit, I am grateful for my breath that I can take right now. I am grateful for my mind, my spirit. As you take that breath, you breathe and relax. Take another breath and breathe. And release. Bringing your awareness back into the sacred space. Bringing your awareness back into your sacred space. The sacred room, fully conscious, giving thanks for the opportunity to just give thanks. Giving thanks for being fully present in the moment. Giving thanks for the breath of life, the living water that's flowing through us. And so as we give thanks for this truth, we bring our awareness back into this room, into this space, moving your head from side to side, fully conscious of where you are, filling the heart space with gratitude, compassion, and love. Sending the highest vibration to all the first responders. Raising that vibration, sending them the highest vibration of love, of peace, of balance, perfect wholeness right now. And the ones behind the scenes. We raise the vibration to every minister, every reverend, every practitioner, every firefighter, paramedics, the ones that's working, and the ones that's not. Sending the highest vibration to all humanity. For the president, raising the vibration to the highest frequency of love and light, healing energy, being a beneficial presence of healing for the world. Giving thanks for bringing everyone working together in unity. No matter how you voted, we all working together for good, for the world. So as we let go of things that no longer serve us, we move forward in giving thanks for a world that works for everyone. We give thanks for peace, peace in the world, peace in the world. Right now, we give thanks for it. We also Raise up the highest vibration for Biden. Whatever the highest and best good is will be. So we're just lifting up and giving thanks for all of God's business. Giving thanks for being fully present in this moment. And gratitude. The Spiritual Enlightenment True Focus Ministry. Being a healing presence for the world. Giving thanks for it all. We continue to give thanks all day today, all week, until the end of the year. Continue to give thanks. Regardless what it appears to feel like, look like. Give thanks and raise the vibration for humanity. Raise that vibration for humankind. Let's take that breath and breathe. As we let go of fear, we walk into truth, we walk into faith. We let go of all fear, confusion, and we walk into fully grounded in the truth of peace, unity, love, a world that works for everyone. Knowing God is all that there is. Knowing that God's Spirit is moving in us and through us and all around us as I speak. So I am in gratitude for being able to be fully conscious of the universal spirit. God's Spirit is moving in us and through us and all around us today. So I'm giving thanks for God's Spirit is within. I give thanks for knowing that to be the truth for me. And then this, giving thanks, I just release all these thanks into the universal law. And I just know that it is perfect. And I know that it's complete. And we will say, and so it is. Amen. So shall it be. So as we just raise that vibration, we continue to know that God is our source, regardless what it appears to look like, regardless what it appears to feel like. The Bible says faith without works is dead. So we must have faith and move our feet in that faith. And that means is looking beyond the surface, looking beyond the circumstances, and know the truth that God is moving through it all. And if we have faith in knowing that God's Spirit is within us and is already activated, regardless of what it appears to look like or be. So we're going to trust the process. And we're going to walk in faith, not by sight. And this concludes our meditation for this hour. Reverend Jerry, I thank you. I appreciate you for being a beneficial presence for the world. All is well. All is perfect. And so, as we're knowing this, I'm going to drum out. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This healing day. this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day, this healing, this healing, this healing day, this healing, this healing, this healing day. Come on. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. All is well. All is perfect. And I will turn this service back over to Reverend Jerry Hobby. Thank you so much.
And I'm going to say thank you, Renee. How beautiful, how relaxing. It's Thanksgiving Eve, and we get an opportunity to just be engaged and anchor ourselves in spiritual practice. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Namaste.
Namaste.